guns kill over 100 people a day.
Those are rookie numbers in this racket.
10, 20, 30, 40, 50 or more. The bloody red beret was rolling up a score.
Every town tells us that 96 people die from guns every day, and they look to the CDC to prove it, which is kind of interesting because they also say that the CDC lacks funding and they're running blind. Running blind, according to the CDC. Running blind CDC stats. Not for me to say. The Brady campaign also echoes this 96 per day, using stats from this same woefully underfunded CDC, telling us that out of those 96, 59 of them are suicides. 34 of them are homicides, whether they're like gangbangers or domestic abusers or defensive gun use. They don't really say, but it doesn't really matter. And on top of that, you also got a smattering of unintentionals, undetermineds, and law enforcement intervention deaths. But for the sake of argument, let's run with 106, which is based on the latest set of numbers from the woefully underfunded CDC. But you see, gun control advocates will not compare these to some other numbers, and here's what's missing. You see, we've got some numbers too, and two can play the sort of game that the gun control advocates like to use. For example, if we take that 106 and compare it to, say, even the Violence Policy Center's estimates for defensive behaviors involving guns, about 95,000, that translates into about 260 lives saved per day. If we go by the report that was commissioned by the Obama administration in 2013, which was also funded by the woefully underfunded CDC, we find an estimate of about 500,000, which translates into about 1,370 lives saved per day. And if we take it one step further than that and go by Kleck and Gert's famous figure of about 1.5 million defensive gun uses, that translates into 4,110 lives saved per day. Lives saved. Lives taken. It should be pretty easy to see from this comparison alone that gun ownership in this country is a net benefit rather than a net detriment. Now, gun control advocates might be tempted to say, but those 106 that were killed every day, those were precious individuals whose precious lives were snuffed out by guns. And I would agree with them about the tragedy of the lives lost. But I would also point out that the hundreds, even thousands of lives saved by guns were also precious individuals. And the question that gun control advocates have to answer for themselves is, why do they value the dead more than the living?